Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, live from the North Jersey studios on this beautiful Thursday evening, September 21st, 2017. Welcome to the 55th episode of the Nico Chronicles. As always, I am your host, the one, the only, Nico Saracino. Thank you to all of you for tuning in to this special episode. For one, because it's 55, so you get the double similar digits there. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you do want to catch us here on Facebook Live, you can check out the TNC official Facebook channel at facebook.com/the Nico Chronicles. Of course, we're available via the Wix stream, nicochronicles.wix.com/the Nico Chronicles, or by calling 701-801-2251. And if you do want to chat, you can go ahead and press 5. So thanks for tuning in. Before we get started, special shout out to my sister Fiona and my mom for tuning in for the comments. My boy Dirty Deeks Patel for tuning in. I appreciate the support, guys. And yeah, it's been a couple weeks since I was last on. I took off last week. As you guys know, I did forget to post an announcement, so I apologize for that. But I was out last week in Baltimore, actually, for work. I went to Natural Products Expo East, which, just like it sounds, it's like a trade show for natural products and dietary supplements and things like that. A lot of gluten-free, non-GMO, vegan, vegetarian, the like. A lot of interesting products, a lot of new innovations as well. So if you guys are in that industry, I highly recommend checking that out. I believe it's one of the largest one of those largest trade shows for the dietary supplement industry and supplements, natural products, I should say, on the East Coast. Did I just repeat myself? It's like, it was estimated to draw in about 28,000 people, something like that. Those numbers may have been affected slightly. I didn't see the final count, but people are predicting it was somewhat affected due to the, of course, Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma. So that did have an impact, but a lot of people did make it out there, which was cool to see. And yeah, that went through, that ran from Wednesday to Saturday. So I did seriously consider doing it, from the show from Baltimore, but I just figured it wouldn't be the same experience. I know you guys love it when I'm at my studios, which, by the way, you guys can see I'm at the backup digs here, the backup studio. When I try to use the other studio, which has the little man cave feel with little pictures in the background and all that cute stuff, I am having a bit of to be honest with you, I'm having an issue with my laptop. It doesn't seem to be reading my beautiful microphone here, my Blue Yeti, for some reason. I use Audacity. For some reason, it's giving me some sort of error. The troubleshooting seems to take a while. They're thinking it's a problem with the sound card, problem with Audacity. So I kind of need to figure out what to do about that. But, this is a good alternative. I'm at a desktop here, so, hopefully that'll work better. But, yeah, I was in Baltimore. It was a fun time. It's also great for networking, too. That's why I get to put a lot of faces to names, like people that I email and stuff, and I kind of get to associate that now. Because communicating through email can be kind of bland, to be honest. It's face-to-face interactions, obviously, the best way to go. Although that's a bit old school. But yeah, nonetheless, it was a good time. And actually, we're gonna be heading out to Las Vegas next Tuesday. We're gonna be flying out, early morning flight, coming back Friday on a red eye. So that's gonna be fun. That's like another trade show. This time for like the ingredient side of it. So the ingredients that actually go into the products. So you kind of get all aspects to it. It's gonna be exciting. So I know we're not even done with episode 55 here, but yeah, we're going to be putting 56 on hold, guys, because I will be out of town next week. But Baltimore was fun, and if you guys did see my little video on Facebook this afternoon, I am very frustrated, to say the least. Very frustrated with the New York Football Giants' performance on Monday night. Last Monday night, the 18th, actually, on national television, on ESPN, The Giants were, I don't even know how to describe it. They were embarrassed on Monday Night Football. The Detroit Lions just pummeled them. I mean, I don't think the score even really indicates, the disparity between the two teams. The final score was 24-10. I mean, some quick stats. Odell Beckham, who had that right ankle sprain in week 2 versus the Browns in preseason, he's obviously not in full form. First half, he only played 9 of 20 snaps. He told reporters that injury is like 6 to 8 weeks recovery time. Okay, and this week only marked the 4-week mark. So for him to be 100%, you got to assume another month or so. Hopefully sooner. But if he can't do his cuts, he's not the fastest guy to play the game, but it's how fast he can come out of the breaks and make those cuts. That's where he makes a difference. And if he can't do that as a healthy player, then that's going to be an issue. So he was limited. He only had 4 catches for 36 yards. I mean, the Lions had no problem with him, to be honest with you. Eli Manning, 22 of 39, 239 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception, which came after the Giants recovered a fumble. After they forced a fumble, next play, Eli throws a ball, which it wasn't his fault, actually. Rookie tight end Evan Ingram, if you guys watched the replay, went off his hands. Okay, that was a catchable ball. It goes off his hands. The defender on Detroit makes an acrobatic play. He tips it in the air, and another guy literally dives for it. So they had a lot going for them on that play. I mean, nonetheless, it was a turnover for the Giants. And offensive coordinator Mike Sullivan of the Giants, he's got a lot of work to do. This is going to be tough. The only bright spot was the rookie Evan Ingram. He did score a touchdown last game. That was good to see, but that was pretty much it. I think the game changer was in the 4th. Giants gave up an 88-yard punt return TD to Jamal Agnew. So that put the game away at 2 touchdowns. It was hard. Eli, again, the offensive line. What the heck is wrong with this offensive line? They need to go out and really do something about this. I know that's kind of naive and easier said than done to say, but they give up 5 sacks, okay? Left tackle Eric Flowers, I don't know. He's struggling out there. Justin Pugh, he has to shift from left guard to right tackle because Bobby Hart gets hurt. So that offensive line's already hobbled. And you got guys moving around, not protecting the quarterback, in general terms. So that's painful to watch. You couple that with the offense of the Lions, okay? Matt Stafford having a deal totaling $225 million, the highest paid NFL player, okay? Or some people call him he got a $135 million contract extension. He did pretty well. 7-yard TD pass to Eric Ebron. A game-sealing first down late in the 4th. So, this guy's obviously capable. He's a gunslinger. I respect what he's doing, but the Giants' offensive line is just, if they don't improve, they're not gonna do well in this division. Okay, because you look at the standings, Giants obviously have not won yet this year, 0-2 on the season. And then you have the Redskins, the Eagles, and the Cowboys all at 1-1. So the Giants aren't fall off, but they gotta try to keep pace. And next week, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, against the Eagles, big divisional game, big NFC East matchup. A must-win for the Giants at Lincoln Financial Field. And the week after that, they face Jameis Winston, Mike Evans, and the Bucs in Tampa. So this is going to be an interesting test of character. I know that's cliche to say, but it's going to be a big test of character for them on the road these next 2 weeks. Can they finish 2-2? Or can they improve to 2-2, I should say? I don't know. I honestly, I'm a Giants fan, but I don't know how much faith I have in them right now. They need to do something offensively. Because the defense has been saving them, even the past couple years. Okay? The defense has been fairly good. You look at last game. They gave up 257 yards. Okay? The Giants only had 270 yards of total offense last game. That's not going to cut it. Okay? Janoris Jenkins, one of their best defenders for the Giants, didn't play. He usually shuts down the star wide receiver. He didn't play. They had a lot of injuries. Bobby Hart, of course, right tackle, gets hurt second play of the game. Linebacker JT Thomas. So this is tough, guys, when there's injuries and when your front four cannot protect Eli. And Eli's 36. He's not a speedy guy. He's been in the league around a long time. But, a lot of analysts are saying he reached his ceiling in terms of talent. Is he still an elite quarterback? Some people are saying no. I heard Max Kellerman on ESPN First Take the other day, maybe a couple days ago, saying he's still a very good quarterback, but maybe not elite. So a lot of people already doubting him. A lot of people doubting him the first 2 games of the season. So, does he deserve that? No. This guy's won 2 Super Bowl rings. He still takes heat day to day. I don't think it's ever going to stop. His whole career he's been taking heat. And what's interesting about this game, it marked the 10-year anniversary. The Giants, they were playing at home in the Meadowlands. It marks the 10th anniversary of the 2007 Super Bowl team. If you guys recall, that fairy tale ride with Antonio Pierce, Michael Strahan, Eli was there, of course, Plaxico Burress, David Tyree. The list goes on. Ahmad Bradshaw, Brandon Jacobs. They started that season 0-2. So, not all hope is lost, but if you go by the numbers, if you're a statistician, if you like to play things by the numbers, only 12% of teams have made the playoffs. Let me rephrase that. Only 12% of teams who have started 0-2 have made the playoffs. Okay, let's take a look at the Facebook Live comments real quick. My buddy Hardik said, Eli Manning is now mediocre. Yeah. I would not argue that. I would not argue that Eli Manning is mediocre. But as T.I. says in his song featuring Iggy Azalea, I don't want no mediocre, Dirty Dicks. You want elite. You can't spell elite without Eli, am I right? And yeah, he's not showing that right now. It's disappointing. But again, if his receivers are dropping passes, if he's not getting the protection that he needs up front, what else can the guy do? I didn't even watch the whole game, admittedly. It was on late. I went to bed eventually. But I was looking at one play. The Giants were down 14-7, I believe, in the third quarter. Okay? Eli Manning scrambles. He's facing a little bit of pressure. He finds Brandon Marshall down the right sideline. And what does B. Marsh do? He drops the wide open pass. Okay? This would have been a 20-plus yard game. It's plays like that disappoints me. Okay? Brandon Marshall, who's a 6-time Pro Bowler, one of the few players who's a 6-time Pro Bowler with 4 different teams. Okay? It's just disappointing. I thought the Giants got a steal when they picked this guy up, but he hasn't done much, quite frankly. And Sterling Shepard needs help. He's only in his second year. Evan Ingram, the rookie out of Mississippi, he's still getting his legs under him. You can't expect anything from him. Look at the stats here, okay? Brandon Marshall, guess how many receptions he got, all right? He was targeted 5 times. How many catches did he get? 1. The pass was the reception for 17 yards, but come on, you can't have that. Odell Beckham, who's hobbled, got more catches than you, buddy. Okay, could Brandon Marshall be hurt? I don't know. I don't want to be calling this guy out. I don't want to rip him because I wouldn't do that in his face, so I'm not going to do that behind his back. But I don't know if whatever's going on with him, if there's some sort of injury bothering him. He's been plagued by injuries with the Jets the past couple seasons, so I wouldn't be surprised by that, but still. Nobody on the Giants on Monday had more than 4 receptions. Okay, same with Detroit, but still, they were more equally distributed. So this is going to be really difficult to watch on Sunday. It is. Philly's got an impressive team, and I believe it was the Bengals that they played last week or a couple weeks ago. I believe it was the Bengals, if I'm not mistaken. Carson Wentz is the real deal. He's only been in the league a few years, and he can really. I mean, he can let it fly. So I respect what that guy's doing. They have a great team there. So it's gonna be difficult. Can they do it? I mean, I'm not giving them 0%. You know, but I'm in an elimination challenge with some people on ESPN, and let's just say I probably choose against the Giants right now. Against the Eagles, like if I ever had to choose that game. And I'm not doing too good in elimination either, might I add. I'm 0-2. The teams that I have expected to win have lost. Or vice versa. The teams I thought would lose have won. So maybe if I pick the Giants to lose, they'll win. You know, who knows? Because with my luck, I picked the Jaguars, okay? I picked the Jaguars week 1, all right? I thought this was a gimme. You know, no disrespect to the Jaguars, but they've been struggling the past few years. You know, haven't won really more than 2 games the past couple seasons. Okay? The Jaguars even. Against the Houston Texans week 1. You know, and shout out to J.J. Watt for raising so much money for Hurricane Harvey relief. But when they got out on the field, you know, I think it was over $200 million at the end of it. But when they got out on the field, it was... I mean, the Jaguars just dominated. And I was wrong. And then week 2, I picked the Cowboys to defeat the Broncos. Dallas doesn't get it done. Ezekiel Elliott, 9 carries for 8 yards. You know, that's not going to get it done. Everybody's questioning his lack of effort. You know, he used to complain to Coach Obermeyer at Ohio State about his amount of carries he's getting. So we don't know what's happening with Coach Garrett in Dallas, if he's getting enough carries, whatever the case may be. But whatever the case is, guys, Washington, Dallas, Philly, all 1-1, Giants 0-2. It's not over yet. But they're in a hole. The Giants like to do this. You know, history has shown, as I mentioned, 2007, even 2010, I don't remember what they started, but they had a few losing streaks that season as well. They had a few losing streaks, and then they string together like 3 or 4 straight wins in bunches. And then they just make the wild card. They haven't won the division in a while, but they just make the wild card. And then they cruise through the playoffs. That's usually what happens. There's that scenario. Or they start out really well, like 5-2, and they lose like 8 straight. So that's happened before too. So I'd rather have the Giants who catch fire later on in the season. Because you know how the saying goes, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So, you know, I'm going to be patient. I'm just very frustrated, and I'm a little antsy about that. I'm a little anxious, annoyed. You know, and Eli Manning, poor guy, as I said, he can only do so much. Head coach Ben McAdoo pretty much put the blame on him, put the loss. You know, there was a crucial delay of game called on Eli in the 4th quarter. I mean, that is kind of his fault, you know, when you can't get the playoff, you can't get the snap off, but that obviously does not define the entire game. You know, but he's a leader. Eli can take the criticism. He's very stoic, and he's very good at, you know, handling the pressure in the New York media, so... I mean, I think if there's somebody that you're going to blame, Eli can be the right guy. You know, I like Eli. You know, despite the stuff that he does. Despite how frustrating he can do sometimes and some plays that he makes. You know, he's been in the league around long enough to see the right plays develop, and, you know, he's a smart guy. He's a top 10 QB, maybe top 5. You know, that's debatable, as I've been saying in my ramble here, but I'm really going to be curious to see what kind of Giants team comes out here. Is it going to be an 07, 2010 team, or like a 2012 team who started off hot and then collapsed? That's the real question. So stay tuned, guys. 1 p.m. Eastern time. I believe Fox is going to be airing that. But there is Thursday Night Football tonight on NFL Network. LA Rams at Levi Stadium in San Fran facing the 49ers. That game is already underway. It started at 8:25. And the LA Rams are actually running away with this one right now, guys. 17-7. Rams 1-1, 49ers 0-2. And yeah, a lot of people were kind of complaining about this matchup. You know, there were a lot of GIFs and things on Facebook kind of making fun of this matchup, not very intriguing to watch on Thursday night. But nonetheless, it shaped out to be a good game. Todd Gurley, of course, who has some of the quickest feet I've seen. I saw him doing drills. I think SportsCenter was playing clips of him, like in practice, or I don't know what it was, but he's got quick feet, this guy. Opens up the game, first 10 seconds of the game with his 3-yard TD run. And then scores on a reception TD. So he's got 2 TDs on the night. It's not even halftime yet. So, 28 yards rushing. And a nice little reception for a touchdown as well. So that's that. And just as I said that, the 49ers just got a Robbie Gould field goal. 36-yard field goal. So it's not more of a game here with 9.5 minutes left in the first half. LA Rams 17, San Francisco 49ers 10. So check that out on NFL Network. Check your local listing for that channel if you have it, because it is not on basic cable. So be sure to check that out. And lastly, before I let you guys go, an interesting news item in the basketball world that I thought was interesting was Mr. Kyrie Irving, repping West Orange, New Jersey, my hometown. Shout out to O-Town, baby. Appeared on one of my favorite shows, ESPN First Take, and he pretty much just said, hey, when I got traded to the Celtics, I didn't need to tell LeBron. There was no need for me. I'm my own man. I can do me. You know, and he's kind of thinking like LeBron did to Dwayne Wade, you know, when he got traded to Cleveland, or when he left for Cleveland. Same kind of idea. He said, I made my decision. I'm my own man. At the end of the day, I'm going to do what I can do to be able to harness my craft as a player. And he feels that Boston's the best place for him. Because a lot of people think Kyrie Irving is just an ISO player. You know, and there's analysts that say, oh, he most likely got tired of being Robin to LeBron's Batman, rather. He's not going to say that straight out, but to put it in short, Kyrie Irving went to the Celtics, in my opinion, to start another chapter in his career. The kid's 25 years old. Okay, he won a ring with the Cavs. Probably could have won at least another one with LeBron. That team is staying fairly unchanged. It's pretty much the same roster coming back if Kyrie didn't leave. And now he decides to go to Boston, which, can he win the ring? I don't know. He doesn't have that superstar player to take him to the next level. That's going to be tough. They have great caliber players, but I don't know if they're superstar levels. Gordon Hayward, fantastic player. Al Horford, great player. Is that big three enough to compete with the Cavs? Time, I say a lot, but time will tell. Because I don't know, that's going to be tough. That's a tough matchup. And up to the beginning of the season, LeBron and Kyrie are going to have a whole ton of questions to answer about this. I mean, it's not going to be thrown under the mat. Everyone's going to keep talking about this till end of October, beginning of November when the regular season starts. So, I mean, it's a storyline. It's fun to talk about, but we'll never know if there was actually beef between Kyrie and LeBron. You know, when Kyrie requested a trade. I mean, everyone feels that there's more to this than Kyrie says. He's kind of talking like a publicist, like he's giving a PR response. As much as I love Kyrie, he's not. I don't think he's telling the full story, quite honestly. So, does everyone want to learn the truth? Of course. But in reality, you know what's going to happen when the media gets a hold of the truth? They're going to rip him to shreds. Okay? This is a lose-lose for Kyrie and LeBron. You know, they take heat regardless. So, what's one more storyline? You know, Irving does not... He could care less about what they say about him. So, he's just going to do him. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to listen to what you want to do. So you can't blame the guy for doing that. You know, it might take a few years to win that title. You know, and even the Celtics, Kyrie-less last year. I think people forget that the Celtics did win the East last year. Cavs came in second, despite that talented roster, and they pretty much did a swap. You know, two caliber players just pretty much just switch teams. I mean, Jay Crowder is on the Cavs now. They got a big man as well in the trade. I think a draft pick, a couple of draft picks, whatever the case may be. But I mean, not much has really changed. If Isaiah Thomas, if he gets back to healthy form because he's a bit hobbled, you know, that could be a game changer too. So there's a lot of factors to consider here, guys. You know, I haven't heard the latest injury report about Isaiah Thomas. So until we see how mobile he is and, you know, his agility and quickness, because that's really what he thrives off of, until we see that, it's going to be tough to tell. You know, that's why these pre-speculations of the regular season, like these projections, is tough. Do they do power? I believe they do power rankings in NBA as well, right? Because when they do NFL power rankings before the season starts, it's just, I think it's a big waste of time. Because you haven't seen the teams hit the field or hit the court basketball-wise. You haven't seen anything yet. We haven't even seen preseason yet. We haven't even seen, I mean, we saw Summer League. Summer League's over. Shout out to the Lakers for winning the Vegas Summer League, by the way. Okay, that's all we've seen. And those are the rookies or maybe the second or new guys to the NBA who play from overseas. We don't see the best caliber players. So what are we basing our projections off of? Stats? Yeah, I don't know. And thank you. Yeah, thank you, Jason. That was my next point that I was going to touch upon. You know, sticking with the local people or local teams, Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, still not much developing with that. I read an article in Bleacher Report yesterday, though, that says, or speculating, I don't even know where they get their news from, but they're speculating that Carmelo's already fantasizing about playing in Houston. Okay, he's already envisioning what that could be. I mean, I can imagine it too. Playing with Chris Paul and James Harden. I mean, talk about a super team there. There's going to be a handful of super teams at that point. That would be fun to watch, though. Them taking on the Golden State Warriors, say, in the Western Conference Finals. So it's Houston and Golden State, Western Conference Finals. I mean, probably Cleveland and Boston as of now, if I had to guess. But again, we don't know. We don't know who's going to be healthy, who they're going to get with trades, who they're going to release, what's going to happen. You know, it's a day-to-day thing, but that could possibly be the matchup there, the four teams. But you can't leave the Spurs out. You know, the Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, and the Pelicans are up and coming. Hornets are good, Kemba Walker, Charlotte Hornets. And even in the East, even in the West, let's not forget Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and the Thunder. They're going to give the West a run for their money. And in the East, you know, the East is going to be interesting. It's very much more top-heavy as opposed to the West. So, East seems a little bit more predictable. Those teams that I mentioned in terms of Celtics and Cavs, possibly the Bucks, the Greek freak over there, and Jabari Parker if he can be healthy. The Raptors, perhaps, coming out of the Atlantic Division, where the Nets and Knicks play. So, yeah, that's really it in terms of the Eastern Conference. So I'm excited for it. I know it feels like every week I find a way to bring up NBA, but it is my favorite. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in to episode 55. Shout out to my sister Gabby who caught the end of that. Good looks, Gabe. Hello to you as well. What's up? So thank you guys for tuning in. As I said, there will be no episode next week. I'll be out of town. But episode 56 will resume in 2 weeks. 2 weeks we'll be back. So that makes it October 5th. Wow. Can you guys believe it's almost October already? Wow. That's cray. But we'll be back in 2 weeks, October 8th. Until then, guys, I wish you guys a phenomenal Thursday evening. Have yourselves a fabulous weekend, and we'll talk soon.